around how do you close the gaps in your network. The reason I want to talk about this is I've had a couple of coaching sessions today, and I think we've got networking all wrong. I think we are continuing to be very transactional about it. And to be honest with you, I think we've been fed a furphy that we believe networking is all about attending events, is all about going to the next Butte thing. It's all about meeting people and going to conferences and this, that, and the other. And yes, that has a role to play. But I think there's two fundamental strategies before that we're failing to acknowledge when it comes to building our network. So that's what I want to talk about today. This is live. If you're watching this live, please make sure to comment in the chat. And if you want a copy of this replay or a copy of the workbook that I'll be going through, just put build in the comments and I'll share that, because fundamentally what I want to talk to you all about today is my strategy around closing the gaps in your network. How when you find, let me just put that iPad in, how when you find the gaps, how do you actually fill it? How do you build your network and build a quality network? Here's the thing, right? Building a network requires a level of intentionality. It requires you to actually make an effort, and it's more than just like, connect. It's more than just turning up to an event and passing out business cards. It requires a real intentionality about surrounding yourself with the right people, the people that are going to help you achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve, and equally the right people where there's going to be that mutual exchange. Surrounding yourself with people that are going to push you further than you can go yourself. That board of advisors, that marketing machine, that intelligence bank is absolutely key. And yet, too many of us just don't know how to actually go out there and find people. And I think we've got it all wrong. So what I want to share with you today is my strategy around neighbors versus strangers. And where this comes from is when we think about building your network. By the way, this is the workbook. If you want a copy of this, just put build in the comments and I'll make sure you get a copy. When it comes to filling those gaps in your network, and in my work, in my book, It's Who You Know, I talk about 12 key people. And more often than not, a lot of people don't have the key people around them. They know a lot of people, but they don't necessarily know the right people. The biggest questions, the three key questions I always get asked is, Janine, where do I find the right people for my network? How do I find them at those events or in those situations? And what the hell do I say to make sure that I get noticed and this becomes a mutual exclusive conversation? As I shared a minute ago, I think we've got it all wrong. I think when it comes to networking, too many of us are going from the outside in versus the inside out. I think your network is closer than you think. And the analogy that I use is this concept of neighbors versus strangers. Neighbors versus strangers. So think about when you walk out of your house, your unit, your apartment block. Think about the people that live nearby. Yeah, it's comfortable, right? There's a level of understanding and awareness around who lives where, what people are doing, where the nearest coffee shop is, where the favorite park is. There's a level of commonality that happens when we think about our neighbors. You know, we live in a similar area. We go to the same coffee shops. We go to the same dog park. Our kids might go to the same school. There's this lovely, relaxed, friendly community when we think about neighbors. Now, I want you to think about strangers. You know, imagine overnight you're dropped in a brand new city and you're walking down the street. Speaking or approaching a stranger is a lot harder than it is with your neighbor. It requires a level of courage. It's going to take longer to get to know each other. They might ignore you straight away. Like you're nervous about approaching them. And when it comes to networking, when it comes to building your network, I think so many of us approach networking from a stranger perspective versus approaching it from a neighbor's angle. And that's what I want to share with you today, these 3 strategies to think about when it comes to how do you fill the gaps in your network. If we were to picture it in this way, I like to map this horizontally based on proximity. So let's think about proximity to you. Oh, my pen's having lots of fun today. Let me just delete that. There's a slight delay in my pen. All right, let's try again, Janine. Let's imagine this is proximity. And we've got close and we've got far. So that is the axis for the horizontal. And in terms of the vertical, let's think about this in terms of effort, i.e. easy and hard. Now, what I see happening is when it comes to go out there and network, you've really got to network. The biggest mistake I see happening is we're going from the outside in. We go from here, we start hard and we go in. We start at a place where it takes a hell of a lot of effort, and often there's a significant lack of commonality from the starting point. What I want to suggest today is that we actually reverse this and we start here. We start where it's easy in terms of effort and where the proximity is close. And these three strategies are about starting at the very beginning and starting in this first block here, which I call the hot strategy. Gosh, my pen is really delaying itself here. So this first area here is, I believe, where we should start. This is where I start with my clients. It's where I start with my own networking. Now, what this means is thinking about what you're trying to achieve, thinking about what you're wanting to achieve personally and professionally, the clients that you're trying to reach out to, the business opportunities that you're wanting to create, the revenue targets that you're trying to achieve this year, the new team members, the new clients that you want to attract. What tends to happen is we start way out. And my recommendation is thinking about the gaps in your network, look at what you're trying to achieve and go, who do I already know? Who do I already know that is circling in my orbit right now, that I've worked with before, that I've previously met, that I may just not have spoken to for a long time? Who do I already know that could be my marketing machine because of the contacts that they've got, that could be my board of advisors because of the knowledge that they have and the experience that they have, that could be my intelligence bank because of their breadth of experience? Who do I already know and approach them first? You already know them. Your network is at your fingertips, but so many of us are so busy chasing shiny stuff that we forget that the very people that should be part of our network are close to us already. So who do you already know? Identify them. They're close to you. You know them. It's pretty easy to reach out. And this is the network, by the way. That's the gaps. That's in the workbook if you want it. You know, let's imagine that I know Cara and she could absolutely be a butt kicker for me because that's what she's already doing. And she's a hot contact. I already know her. How are you going to? What is the first question you're going to ask them? How are you going to reach out? Totally other bit of training, which I can do later. But essentially, this is about identifying them. You're looking for people to fill specific roles. These people here are already telling you you're awesome. They're already making suggestions for you to build your business. They're already checking in on you. They're already sharing knowledge and insight. They're already holding you accountable. You know them. You've just got to open your eyes, open your ears, and just change that awareness. Start there. That's the number one place to start. The second strategy is the one of warm. And, you know, we've all heard that saying, you're the average of the people that you surround yourself with, the X degrees of separation. I believe that this is what we have to tap into when it comes to filling the gaps in our network, because I can bet my bottom dollar that you may not know someone, but someone that you already know knows someone that could help you. And that's what this warm strategy is about. Again, identify the gaps, approach people that you already know, that you respect, that you work with, that you admire, and share with them what you are looking for, the gap in your network that you would love to fill, and ask if they can help make an introduction. Ask if they know anybody. This is what I call this warm introduction. So, for example, it could be, Sarah, I think she knows someone that could help me find a mentor, and I'm going to ask her if she can make some introductions. Essentially, this is about us being much more intentional, tapping into the people that we already know, that we already admire, that we already respect, people that we potentially look up to, the people that are circling in our orbit, and we actually use them to help build our own network. But here's what happens. Instead of doing that, we actually start here. We go to cold networking events. We attend events where we don't know anyone, we've never been to. Potentially there's a whole, I don't want that black color, that's horrible. Let's use blue. We go to these cold networking events where we don't necessarily know anyone, where it does become a business card swapping fest, where it's very much superficial conversation, where most people don't really enjoy going to those events. And this is what I mean by we've got networking all wrong. We need to reverse engineer it. And instead of going cold, warm, hot, we need to actually go hot, warm, cold. So those are the three strategies. That's why I believe we've got networking all wrong. If you want a copy of this recording to rewatch it, and you'd love a copy of this workbook where I identify the networking matrix and also how to close the gap, I give you a framework in here so that you can start identifying those gaps in your network. Ultimately, it's about building your neighbor's strategy versus your stranger's strategy so that you can actually close this gap in your network. If you want a copy of this workbook and a copy of this training, just put replay in the comments and I'll get you a copy. Hope this has been useful. We've got networking all wrong. We're busy doing cold networking, attending large format networking events, going to events where it becomes very transactional and very superficial. And my argument, my work is all about reverse engineering that, because your quality network, the people that are going to help you succeed, that are going to push you further than you can go yourself, that are going to hold you accountable, that are going to care for you, that are going to help you achieve those dreams of success are at your fingertips. You just got to be intentional. You've got to be thoughtful, and you've got to be strategic about how you actually use your time to reach out to the very people that are going to help you succeed. Hope you found this useful. If you'd love a copy, just comment, replay or build below, and I'll make sure I get you a copy. See you later.